Okay.
Hi, my name is Kurt Krueger, and I'm one of those guys that get to interview incredible people from around the world. This one person I met when she was 12 years old. Wow. Especially the wow came when I talked with her. And this is a time, instead of having her talk and interview me, I said, I'm going to turn the tables. So this is a little bit of a play that we get to dance. And I don't know, do you dance, Raheem?
Well, it's mostly just me, my room locked, and dancing in front of the mirror. But no, publicly, I have never actually publicly danced.
And you're so old. Oh my God, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I got to dance in Burbank Civic Light Opera's production, and it was all because of a high school performance that I got to do. But I was also an athlete. Are you an athlete also?
Well, I think if you see me entirely, you'd be like moving, just like moving generally.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't quite hear you because of a breakup in the sound, and you're frozen right now. But maybe we can unfreeze you because we don't want to make a movie about you.
Okay. Am
There
I
you are.
good now?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Both the
So I was saying that swimming is the thing. It's like when I do want to do anything. I think you were also a swimming athlete or something.
Yes, I was an all-American swimmer actually, and I got my scholarship to the University of Colorado in swimming. And oddly, I have an identical twin brother, and he was a national champion and a three-time All-American in swimming at the University of Southern California. I was only an All-American at Los Angeles Valley College. So when I say that, people think, only an All-American. Well, when you have a brother who's a national champion and a three-time All-American, I was only in one event. So it's only. And so life is relative. Like when I speak with you, it's like speaking to an adult. And that's the way every adult, I believe, should speak with young people because I get to learn a lot from you. So, what is your first teaching that you have for me to learn as an elder that hasn't learned what I should learn? Oh my goodness, you're frozen again. Is that hard of a question? Oh, you're starting to, oh no. Well, we lost Raheen, but I think she's going to come on as soon as she can. So I'll have to be able to have a little bit of a dialogue. There she is. Okay,
Yeah.
you're back. Now, did you
Yeah.
hear my question?
Yeah, I'd love if you can just like say that again because I was trying to leave and then join the studio again because that
Yes.
helps.
Okay. Basically, oh, I got to think of it again. I'm a tangentialist. I go on tangents. So, what is the you're a person who's an elder to me.
Hmm.
Imagine you have something to teach me. What is it? Because you know a little bit about me and my history and what I'm looking to do in life. What is it that you can offer me to grow as a person who is striving to help everybody on the planet? What would you offer me as something to know?
Well, I mean, usually if I'd give somebody an advice, I just give them the thing like be this or like try improving that. But I mean, with you, you're kind of like the mentor here. But I think one advice that I could give you it's probably to just like at times go crazy and have fun because it's like I always see you like very at a very calm and in like a very I would say um beautiful way of speaking but never like crazy like me moving all the place and everything. So I feel like just going crazy and like kind of letting go of that.
Can I do this?
Oh yeah, kind of like that. That's where
On
things start.
Tuesday of the Peace Lab, and I'm
Hmm.
doing this for a reason, is that on Tuesday in the Peace Lab, one of the most outstanding people in the world dealing with trauma. He's amazing. He's from Sweden. He's a wonderful soul. He's gone into the Congo, and he's with the child soldiers. He's gone into Rwanda with the genocide. He's gone into refugee camps in Greece and so on. And these are traumatized people. And he teaches them what's called tapping. And then he also teaches, some other thing like I'm moving my hands in a sort of circular manner to be able to help balance your brain. Actually, this actually helps to balance your brain, and me moving either forward and back like the when the Jews pray in front of the Wailing Wall, they usually rock like this, and the conservative Jews will do their prayers and they're rocking back and forth, but it does something for your brain. So when we have something to be able to release the tensions, like side to side it can be, it will allow us to be able to open up our brain more. And all the learning centers are open. So what can we do? There's nothing that we cannot do. It's like the only picture in my book is a picture of a man lifting over 7,000 pounds off a standard. So what can't you do when you get your mind a lot clearer? Like my friend and I do a lot of sitting and giving podcasts, answering questions of people. And we sit for a long time. If we don't move like this, like when my wife and I love dancing, if if we don't move, the body doesn't circulate the blood as well, and the brain uses more of the blood, the oxygen, than any other organ in your body. So that simple movement can also get you to be able to breathe a little bit better and so on. And you feel good because people are not made to sit in school for so long. Every 20 minutes in a secondary school, a teacher should get people up to move, and a cross crawl movement, and it helps to be able to open up the learning centers. Otherwise, your brain gets to be like jello. You're
Yeah.
back. Did you hear anything of what I was saying in the meantime? Because
Oh
I
yeah,
figured,
I got to hear. I got to hear a lot of things, and you were talking about the movement. So, and there's actually something with I'm a practicing Muslim, and when we're reading the Holy
Salam
Quran,
alaikum.
there's
Excuse me for not greeting you. Allah
sorry,
salam alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, and I love when you do that. It's like you're that one person that always would greet me how I would greet other people.
Ah. Well, I didn't welcome everybody with great respect and love. Without doing that, it's like when you say assalamu alaikum. What does it mean? We are bringing God into our conversation. We are being present with each other. But so often we just say it like as if it's nothing. And this is why when we see or feel that we're not coming from our heart, well, what happens? You can go like this, stop for a moment. That's the international symbol for stop. And we take a breath and we get connected again. And this is a beautiful way to be, really connected from the heart. And that's how peace can thrive. So if you had one way to bring about peace, how would you bring about peace? What would you do? Would there be a law and everybody had to follow it? Or how would you get people to act kindly and lovingly and so on? Big question, huh? Because you're the one that's really so smart. I'm only a viejito, and that in Spanish means little old one. But I'm only 94,000 years old, so I got to learn from some wise people, these youth. In the Christian tradition, they say, be thee like little children and enter the kingdom. Little children are pure. They're also smarter than elders. An example of that, indigenous tribes in the mountains of Colombia with sheer cliffs, they let their little babies crawl next to the cliff. They don't say watch out because the baby is closest to God and has all the senses open and knows not to go any further. That's the wisdom of youth. And the baby, the reason why they look so starry eyed is because they're seeing everything in the moment. They're not thinking about the past, which you can't do anything about. They're not thinking about the future, which you can do preparation for. But again, we get to live present. We get to live here now. And again, I'm talking a lot because you've frozen yourself and you may have to come back on or something. Hopefully you're able to hear me, but everybody else gets to hear me. I got to be positive. Excuse me. I get to be positive. See, this is one of the things that we learn is that when you're more positive, you feel better. When you're more positive, how do people feel around you? Better. We spread peace by being positive. And she just disappeared on my screen, so I get to continue to talk because she was frozen. Poor Rahina will be back on as soon as she can. She's not very poor, but that's another story. Very, very rich. There you are again. Welcome back. Did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah, I got to hear what you were saying. So basically, my answer is that if I was just to say like one thing that would bring about peace, that is open dialogues on topics or aspects of peace, where people from all religions, all cultures, all nations, all professional backgrounds, all
You're breaking up. I can't really understand. I don't know what you can do about the sound, but I can't really understand what you're saying, and your screen froze. So it sounds like I should continue to to fill the space. And I'm sitting well, I think it's about 50-degree weather in California, and wishing that I could communicate better with everybody in firsthand. One day, inshallah, I will be able to come to Pakistan and share some time. I will be on some Zoom presentations on the Silk Road and other presentations around Pakistan. But there you are again. All
yeah.
right. So go ahead, continue.
So I
Um,
feel like dialogues, because it does happen a lot of times that we don't talk about, we just don't aspects of peace, or we don't talk about a certain topic, and misunderstandings or generalizations, just form. So I feel like that is something that what I believe can bring about peace.
well, tell me then. I have neighbors, and I have an identical twin who think, quote, the other way. Now, when I say other way, we're two sides of a coin. The only way the coin rolls is when we work together, or the chopsticks. The only way you can feed yourself is with both chopsticks working. And then you can feed each other with the chopstick. The chopstick, the right and the left, the male and female, then the yin and the yang, the positive, the negative, all of these opposites, like Trumpers and Bernie Sanders and so on. Because for me, I felt Bernie Sanders had the most integrity of any politician I've known in years. But he gets to be able to talk with people on, quote, the other side, to be able to see if he can get his programs for the common people into policy. He's talking. Are they hearing? Are we talking in a way that can be heard? Or are we talking at people? This is a key factor. We can come together, but how is it that we express ourselves? So, how would you do it to bring a person? Let's say there's a big discrepancy in Islam, Shiites and Sunnis. Why? Why? Allah's Allah. What is the big difference? What is the big teaching of Allah? Can't we come together and be brothers and sisters and really work together. I have a friend, he's a very radical Muslim. I'm a Muslim that's very progressive. I'm one of the branch of Islam that is Sufi. I want to experience Allah. I want to be able to walk the talk. The talk is love. For me, I see Allah, He created this incredible universe. That's a lot of love and keeping it together. If the planet goes out of whack to a degree, it'll ruin the whole solar system. Wow, such love to keep us connected, to work together. So, how is it that we can talk with each other? Do you have a clue? You froze again, it seems. It's sad that we have all this freezing happening and it's not even that cold outside. So, oh, I want to point out one other little thing as I'm swaying back and forth. On Tuesday was the first time I learned about this swaying and why it works for your mind and your body. On the call, I started doing it because this was a beautiful podcast on humanity rising, and it's about trauma. And it was Tuesday's program. You can see it on YouTube. And Ulf Sandstrom described this, and he's swaying like this. He came on swaying. He was doing this all the program. And for some of my older friends, they were almost getting seasick, they said. I hope it doesn't make you seasick. But swaying like this helped. And I started practicing it because I had to feel what it was like. So I had taught sports psychology and I've taught physical education or kinesiology and so on all around the world at universities and from 11-year-olds all the way to 90-year-olds. And I kept on practicing this because if we don't experience it and test it, it's like me talking about a mango. Oh my God, I love mangoes. When I lived in India, I lived in India 2 years total, 1 year at a time. But I love it when mango season is. And if a person just talks about mangoes and I can't eat it, what good does it do me? He can talk about all the nutrition and how tasty it is and so on. But if we don't get to taste it, oh, that's sad. So we experience this. If you were in the audience right now, just sway back and forth. You might, if you're in a public area, you might look a little bit crazy, but I teach people happiness, how to be even happier. And one of the things is to be able to laugh just for no good reason. It'll oxygenate your system. It'll produce neuroendorphins, which are brain opiates. It makes you feel really good. And it gets other people to laugh. So if we just sit here and just take a few seconds to do this, there's the machine gun laugh, there's the hee-haw laugh, there's all these different kinds of laughs. And we got used to just doing one laugh. Experiment with your laughter. And you get to have all these wrinkles when you get to be 94,000 years old from being able to laugh and have a good time. Some people have smiles that go up. Some people have smiles that go this way. It all depends on how many times you get to laugh in your life. And if you look at my smile, is it turned up? Yeah. Why? I guess I must have laughed a lot. So I'm not just one of those guys that's so serious, although I can be. I meditate every day. Meditation is the most effective way to bring peace to the planet. Because if you're not peaceful inside and your mind is working actively, what happens? You're not peaceful. You're worrying about things. You're thinking about the future or said, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have done that. Or I got caught or whatever. Give peace to the mind. Because if your mind is not peaceful and the world is, you're still not peaceful. We start here. It's like when we pray. When we pray, we focus our minds on God. When we turn our minds off, I think God created etiquette. If somebody's talking, you listen. You're quiet. Allah is looking at us. And if our mind is going, He's not going to talk. He's not going to interrupt. So when we get peace to the mind, Allah could communicate with us. And this is why the dervishes twirl. They want to turn off the mind. And they're doing a physical practice. They can do this beautiful physical practice. And they are feeling better and better. There's a lot to bringing the physical into life because it's the grounding force of God. There's the body, mind, spirit, emotions, all of that. But the body encompasses all of that. The mind only encompasses the mind, right? So bring to life Allah's teachings. Walk the talk. Yes, now you're back. I'm so happy to see you moving. And then I get to hear you. It's your turn.
Yes, yeah. So basically, I mean, I feel this movement that you told about, it is very much, it comes naturally because actually I've tried one day to just observe so many people because
Oh, you're breaking up again. Boy, this is pretty consistent. You start to speak and then you break up a lot. That's crazy. And you're frozen right now and I don't hear anything when we're speaking. I hope everybody else can hear what you're saying. I just can't. You're totally frozen right now. Wow, we have interesting time today. I've never had such a discombobulated, that means really disoriented session on, well, it's not even a Zoom call, and I'm used to using Zoom. Uh, but I've also lived in India, and India is very much similar in its energy fluctuation as Pakistan, I'm sure. And it's sad that we can't get all that kind of thing together so well. And it happens here in America too. Uh, we have the worst COVID incidences in the world per capita of any country in the world. It's all because of a lack of real focus. Uh, and when we focus on people, when we focus on helping them, we will have a planet worth living on. But we focus on GDP, gross GNP, the gross national product, and gross domestic product instead of gross national happiness. We can bring happiness to life, economically fruitful. There's something called B corporations that help the environment, the people, and the company be profitable. All can be taken into account to make everything profitable for long term. The Native Americans say, don't do anything that would affect negatively 7 generations down. 7 generations. How long is that? Generation is usually they consider 20 years. 7 times 20, 140 years. What was it like 140 years ago? There was no electricity and so on and so forth. But did the planet get to be better and better? Well, Fatima, you're actually totally blank. There's no picture of you, but I do see your name on the screen. Uh, I don't know how you can come back, but it'd be lovely to see you. And you just disappeared totally. Uh, Now, one of the things I want to point out also, there was a whole bunch of people on the podcast that we were on. There were about 6 people on the podcast on Tuesday for Humanities Team. the Peace Lab. And I and Ulf and one other person out of all of them started doing the swaying. People, and we even suggested people experiment with it, experiment with life. That's why the Peace Lab is called a lab. It's like a laboratory. We're experimenting with what can bring about peace. And seeing your smile allows us to be more peaceful. See? Look at that. It even brought a bigger smile to mine and a bigger smile to yours. You smile for no good reason, just to produce those. And there's laughter for no good reason. There's a guy named Swami Beyondananda. Swami Beyondananda, right? Beyond the bliss. And he teaches people that he's a comedian, actually. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his work, but check him out on YouTube. I know the guy. He was from Los Angeles. Now he's living up in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah. Actually, even now when I do like stand-up comedy, though I don't do it much now. I mean, I don't even know most of my jokes. That's how things are rolling right now. But when I perform and during like the time where I was like actively performing,
Uh-huh.
I saw so many types of laughter that I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because at times just one person has a very, I wouldn't say weird, but a profound way of laughing or expressing their happiness.
Yeah.
And we'd all be like, oh my God, now that's new in the audience. And then there's going to be like so many laughs. And interestingly, I feel, and something I believe is that as a stand up comedian, your joke, and many times, I'm seeing somebody perform, I don't get the joke, but because everybody's laughing, it makes me laugh. Maybe somebody's laughter makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So since a few very genius ones get the joke, and because they're laughing, everybody starts laughing,
That's
and
it.
that's how
And
the
it's
laughter
people
explodes.
go there to release. They go there to release their tensions. That's why they go to laugh their shop or all the different names for the different comedy, central and so on and so forth. Let me challenge you though. You ready for a challenge? Because I know when I challenged you about awesome, you started to pick up not saying awesome so much.
Yeah.
And you're still doing it obviously, but it's maybe less than you used to, and using other of these kind of adjectives. uh, but the challenge here is maybe make a comedy skit about peace. How is it you can bring about ideas that will make people laugh, that actually give them ideas
We're
of
kind of already doing
creating peace? Pardon?
working on it.
Are you breaking up again? Shoot. Oh, you're still breaking up. God, I wish you'd be on the phone too at the same time. Oh, I can't hear you.
God, I don't.
There you are. Oh, she disappeared again, but she'll be back. She's pretty quick at this. And I don't know if everybody's still swaying or like this or rubbing their hands like that. There you are. All right.
Yeah, I'm actually already working on it. We're trying to do something, and that is for Netflix and Amazon Prime and 190 other platforms.
Oh boy, I like that.
Yeah, so we're trying to make like this Netflix and Prime show that is all about peace. And I will be, and everybody else, because we really just want the environment or the atmosphere that we create to be very humorous.
Has to be. If you're not having fun doing things, you're struggling. And when you do things from your heart all the time, like this idea of I've been working overtime, so to speak, on the piece, and I don't consider it work. People call it work from their point of view. But like when I was teaching, I started teaching in the inner city of Los Angeles in 1969, February 1969. I stopped in 2016. I taught from middle school, from 11-year-olds up to, like I said, university. Always in the inner cities, always in the worst schools. Actually, one of the absolute worst schools in America. They had the two biggest black gangs, two biggest Latino gangs, and there was breaking up a fight a day and taking away a weapon a week. I would get them to be able to have a lot easier time in my social studies class. This is history class and geography. How? I brought them into the classroom through meditation. They became present in the class. But we also had to have fun and explore history instead of having it taught just to memorize and feedback. I don't teach left brainway. That's why, if you're sitting still and you're not moving, you're making it so that you're not able to absorb as much as I'm saying. As you do this kind of movement, you're going to be able to absorb more of the information and therefore bring it into your life more. And that is creating a better life for you and a better life for others. Go ahead, Nazir. Oh, no, don't tell me you froze again. Yes, you have. Oosh. Well, again, with these little breaks, we still get to practice this little practice. And it's very, very important to when you learn something that is new, experiment with it. See if it works for you. Like in my book, Winning Ways for Living, it has all kinds of different practices in it for concentration. Because some people need the Karate Kid concentration technique. Okay, come on, you talk now. I've been talking so much.
Yeah, I had a question for you though. How was Los Angeles? Because the only way that I know Los Angeles, that is TV shows, reality TV shows, and well, that's it. And I am a Los Angeles fan. I have been there for the last
Oh, you just froze again. You froze it. It. I am. You're interested in Los Angeles. When I was raised in Los Angeles, I was raised about 20 miles out of downtown in a small little town in what's called the San Fernando Valley. I was in the oldest town in the San Fernando Valley called San Fernando. We had orchards, farms, and ranches between us and the next town 10 or 12 miles away. It was called Van Nuys. San Fernando had well water. We had Latinos, which means mostly at that time it was Mexicans, but now there's a lot more people from El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica. Like I have a neighbor that's from Costa Rica, and so on and so forth. There's people from all over the world. There's people that come here for the studios. There's people that come here for the sun. There's people that come just every winter from Canada. I mean, it's a hodgepodge of life. And now the San Fernando Valley, which was so open and free and farming, has about 2 million people in it. And Los Angeles has way too many people in it. We get to cut down the amount of births if we can, not being like China and going backwards, but we get to be able to modulate that so we can feed everybody. And without being able to have the farmland that we just destroyed, incredible farmland. There was a place called Camarillo. It had the best farmland in the world, just about. But now it's almost all uh, suburbs. Now, go ahead, my dear. Your turn again. You keep on cutting off when you're talking. And
Yeah, that happens a
you have a
lot.
you have a powerful voice. You
Yeah.
discombobulate the energies in the electrical system.
Yes, now I actually do believe that.
Oh my goodness. You said I do believe that, and then you froze again. Okay, I'm going to rub my hands together and maybe create some magic. Well, it'll create magic for you when you do this. But imagine having a little ball in your hand. And oftentimes I see people only moving one hand on the other one, and the other one stays pretty still. But if you can move them in a circular manner and moving both of them, it really helps a lot. And you'll find out if it helps a lot when you practice it. And are you going to come back on now again? You're still staticky, discombobulated. That's a good word to look up. I like when you really say it with your full mouth, discombobulated. Let your mouth be free, discombobulated. See how the the cheeks get blown up by discombobulated. Say bobulated. Isn't that cool? You get to experiment with your face. So there you
Can
are.
you hear me?
Talk faster.
Okay. Okay, so what I wanted to say is that I've been doing like this thing the entire time, and then I stopped for like a minute, and it was so peaceful. It's like this things just like traveled through my body. You're like, oh my god, I've got goosebumps.
See what experimenting does for you, especially with things that work. Like I mentioned about the book, is that Winning Ways for Living has all these different, like a whole bunch of different meditation practices. Because some people are kinesthetic learners, other people are audible learners, and other people have that mental aspect to them. So there's different ways to meditate, and same thing with concentration. You know, I love seeing you move because you keep on freezing. You're alive if you're moving. I was
Yeah.
one of those kids in the back of the classroom. I'd look out the window and I'd be moving, and uh, but then they find out actually, person may not be getting great grades, but I have keynoted the World Congress in Sports Psychology and talked at the United Nations. And I had 6 people graduate from the University of Colorado that had less of a grade point than me, but I had 3 majors. Now, is that bragging on my grade point? No, because I partied, skied, and graduated. That's what I was there for. That's my focus in those days. When I went for my doctorate, at the University of Southern California, they wouldn't accept me into the regular program because of my undergraduate work. They said, take a couple classes and prove your abilities. I had already keynoted the World Congress in sports psychology. I was going there to get the degree. Did it cause me to be able to not get the keynote speech? No, but I thought I'd get the degree. And I had the worst teacher I'd ever had in my life as a professor. And I thought, he's supposed to be a professor emeritus, highest ranking professor. And I'm going to pay all this money for this degree. Forget it. So I stopped after taking 2 classes. The degree doesn't make the person. Poor people have genius, like this boy in Africa, in a village in Africa, created this windmill out of simple things that produced electricity. And he didn't have any high education. So what can't we do? So, Raheen, you're back on again. Go for it.
Yeah, finally, I'm back on again. Because it's like so rare today. I'm like, I'm moving. When does he actually acknowledge that I'm moving? That means
Oh, you did it again. You froze. You get a few sentences out and you freeze. This is crazy. My first time to interview a wise person like this, and it gets frozen. There you go. You're
yeah.
moving.
See there, I think there's a huge internet problem. I'm pretty sure we're actually gonna reschedule something like this because I'm not gonna let this one go.
Listen, this is probably one of the better programs that we'll have because we're getting people moving and grooving.
Yeah. I mean, I love moving
Oh,
because it's just amazing because usually I wouldn't move into programs because if you see my profile, it's like
oh, you did it again. You, I'm sorry for making all these faces, but maybe somebody's laughing on the other side as you're frozen and I hear this kind of sound. And, and I'm still hearing some of that discombobulated sound, but you're frozen and now I don't even hear anything. So, so this is being present with what is. So this is a very stoic thing. In other words, we work with what we're given. Like the guy, Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers of all time, was an emperor of Rome. And he was a Roman emperor when they had the pandemic that lasted like 13 or 16 years. He gave up almost most of his fortune to help his people, not the rich. The rich sometimes just they went off where they went and so on to get away from it. But he helped his people. But his teaching was you deal with what you have in the best way you can. You prepare for what you're going to possibly have as best you can. But when you get what you get, like I was on a hijacked airplane, I couldn't get off. I ended up getting into the deepest state of meditation I'd ever been in. That's a very stoic thing to do. I didn't even know about the stoicism to the degree that I do now. And yet, one of my majors at the University of Colorado was classics. And I love the philosophy, the literature of ancient Greece and Rome, the Iliad, the Odyssey, all of it. But then I found out about the wisdom of Asia and reading the incredible things. Like my favorite poet is um, Hafez and Rumi and Rabia. Rabia is so incredible. She has such an incredible love for Allah that I don't know how many people read Rabia, but you've of course frozen again, or I wouldn't keep talking because I want to just hear you. So if you haven't read some of these things that I've mentioned, if you want, email me through successsystemsinternational.net, and you can ask for references to books or poets or research, or you can maybe pick up the book Winning Ways for Living. Uh, it's on Amazon and other sources. It got to be on the bestseller list. Two of them out of the four got to be on the bestseller list on Amazon in the first 3 months. So it had some good things in it. But again, I'm not here to sell anything because I will give away what I have, because when you get better, the world gets better. When the world gets better, we get to thrive instead of just survive. We should never, ever have poor people on the sides of streets begging. What would Muhammad do with a poor person on the side of the street? You think about it. We can prevent that from happening, whether it's because of mental problems, whether it's because of health problems, whatever issue it is, we can prevent it or help it get better. There's something called Ho'oponopono. It's a kahuna practice. Kahunas are the wise people of Hawaii and some of the Pacific Islands. These kahunas have a practice of Ho'oponopono. It's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. You repeat those when you, are you back? Or you just froze again? She started to move and froze again. So the thing about this Ho'oponopono is, if you see something in another, realize that that thing that you're seeing in the other is also in you. And when you do that and you say, I'm sorry for being this way, please forgive me for being this way. You don't have to say for this way. Just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now, what are you thanking? You're thanking Allah, or that consciousness inside you that reminded you that you're seeing part of yourself and that you want to clear it in yourself. That's why you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Asking forgiveness, Allah will forgive you. It is said, Allah will forgive you when you ask forgiveness. Well, guess what? You're thanking Allah for the forgiveness. You're thanking God for that forgiveness. And you love God. So you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. When you see something in another that you feel is not so good and you want to clear it, and to clear it, you can only clear it within yourself. And guess what? It clears within others. A man, a psychologist in Hawaii, used this practice for I'm not sure how long it took, but he emptied an entire ward of criminally insane patients by doing that practice over a period of time. If that can be done, that was mentioned in a movie, a documentary called The Secret. You're back. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my
It's talk. Don't say, oh my God, he's here already.
God. Yeah. So what I basically wanted to say that it's been such an amazing session. Didn't even realize that 45 minutes are over for the session. For the session. But I think we'll have
Oh
to
my God,
end the
would like me?
broadcast because my internet level is
Amazing. I'm sorry, I just had to play with you. And you're frozen again. I hope that your podcast is going to live with you actually speaking and me being the only one not hearing you. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Let's come on, you powerful little lady. I only say little because you're a little bit littler than I am, just like I called all my students your age when I was teaching them. Viejitos. There you are, go.
okay. Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, thank you so much everybody for watching. It was amazing having you on, Kurt. Please just stay back for a moment and thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you for being